Oh, excuse me. You must be enjoying the profile. I just happen to be learning some Mishnah Berurah, which I do all the time. But let's check in about where you're at in the profile. So far, you've looked at some of my work. You've looked at what I think about myself and my relationship with teaching. You've looked at my strategic assessment of how I feel about text. You've seen a story about myself and my relationship coming to teaching. And then you've also looked at a project about how I orient myself in a classroom and kind of my general thoughts about how a classroom looks. At this point, we're going to move into looking at some kind of tachlis lesson plans and some of the things I've worked on. We'll start this with a blank lesson plan. Oftentimes the way I start planning my lessons is I start with creating an outline for myself with kind of the broad ideas of what the lesson is going to look like or what the unit is going to look like. And then for each lesson, I take this table and I fill in line by line and minute by minute what the class is going to look like. Sometimes it's literally minute by minute, sometimes it's broader of 15 minutes of focusing on this, and sometimes it's 5 minutes of doing this. But you can see a more filled out example, which is the second document in the artifact section. And that is an example of that filled-in lesson plan. That's for a lesson plan about redeeming captives using Gilad Shalit as kind of the case example. The third document in the lesson planning or artifact section is a short lesson. It's kind of what I call a one and done about a ritual item, about learning to tie tzitzis on your own, which is something I find very important. It's something all of the tzitzis that I wear, I tied myself. And I think it's very, very important. So that's the third item. The fourth item is another, not a one and done, but it's part of a unit on the Amidah, which kind of fits into a class on Tefillah. And this lesson is on Birkat Haminim. I think it's a great lesson. It was the first lesson that I wrote when I was a student in the educators program, and I think it incorporates great commentary of Ismar Elbogen, and it's a wonderful lesson plan. The fifth piece is a worksheet from Masechet Brachot, where the students were learning of when Rabban Gamliel was deposed from the Beit Midrash, and this is it highlights the machlokets between Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Yoshua. So it's called the final showdown of Rabban Gamliel and Rabbi Yoshua. The sixth item in the artifact section is a game, and these are the answers and the questions and answers to a Jeopardy game, which is Jeopardy but Jeopardy. It's an assessment which I use oftentimes to go over a unit. It's more fact-based than theory-based, but it can be very helpful for late elementary school, middle school, even high school if you're trying to test facts. And it can be a lot of fun if it's executed correctly. The last item in the artifacts is a guide to experiencing nature, which is meant to be experienced individually and just kind of taken as a companion guide for one person or for classes to go out and spread out and do their own thing in nature. A lot of my experience in Judaism has come from learning in nature. I very much appreciate nature. I think it's an important part of everyone's Jewish journey. So I included that. It has a lot of different thinkers in there, and it's a lot of different directives. Experience trees, find different types of meaning in different geographical places, and it's really wonderful. So I hope you enjoy the artifact section. I've really enjoyed sharing myself with you, and I look forward to repairing the Jewish world together.